Genome. The sunflower genome is diploid, with a base chromosome number of 17 and an estimated genome size of 2,871 to 3,189 million base pairs. Some sources claim its true size is around 3.5 billion base pairs, slightly larger than the human genome. Etymology. In the binomial name Helianthus annus, the genus name is derived from the Greek lambda iota omicron sigma. Achilleos sun, and nu theta omicron sigma. Anthus flower. The species name annus means annual in Latin. Distribution and habitat. The plant was first domesticated in the Americas. Sunflower seeds were brought to Europe from the Americas in the 16th century, where, along with sunflower oil, they became a widespread cooking ingredient. With time, the bulk of industrial-scale production has shifted to Eastern Europe, and as of 2020, Russia and Ukraine together produce over half of worldwide seed production. Sunflowers grow best in fertile, moist, well-drained soil with heavy mulch. They often appear on dry open areas and foothills. Outside of cultivation, the common sunflower is found on moist clay-based soils in areas with climates similar to Texas. In contrast, the related Helianthus dubilis and Helianthus petiolaris are found on drier, sandier soils. The precise native range is difficult to determine. According to Plants of the World Online PAO, it is native to Arizona, California, and Nevada in the present-day United States, and to all parts of Mexico except the Gulf Coast and Southeast. Though not giving much detail, the Missouri Botanical Garden Plant Finder also listed as native to the western United States. The information published by the Biota of North America program, BONAP, largely agrees with this, showing the common sunflower as native to states west of the Mississippi, though also listed as a noxious weed in Iowa, Minnesota, and Texas. Regardless of its original range, it can now be found in almost every part of the world that is not tropical, desert, or tundra. Ecology, threats and diseases. Main article. List of sunflower diseases. One of the major threats that sunflowers face today is Fusarium, a filamentous fungus that is found largely in soil and plants. It is a pathogen that over the years has caused an increasing amount of damage and loss of sunflower crops, some as extensive as 80% of damaged crops. Downy mildew is another disease to which sunflowers are susceptible. Its susceptibility to downy mildew is particularly high due to the sunflower's way of growth and development. Sunflower seeds are generally planted only an inch deep in the ground. When such shallow planting is done in moist and soaked earth or soil, it increases the chances of diseases such as downy mildew. Another major threat to sunflower crops is broom rape, a parasite that attacks the root of the sunflower and causes extensive damage to sunflower crops, as high as 100%. Cultivation. Seedling of a dwarf sunflower. In commercial planting, seeds are planted 45 centimeters, 1 plus 12 feet, apart and 2.5 centimeters, 1 in, deep. In 2020, world production of sunflower seeds was 50 million tons, led by Russia and Ukraine, with 53% combined of the total. Fertilizer use. Researchers have analyzed the impact of various nitrogen-based fertilizers on the growth of sunflowers. Ammonium nitrate was found to produce better nitrogen absorption than urea, which performed better in low-temperature areas. Crop rotation. Sunflower cultivation typically uses crop rotation, often with cereals, soybean, or rapeseed. This reduces idle periods and increases total sunflower production and profitability. Hybrids and cultivars. In today's market, most of the sunflower seeds provided or grown by farmers are hybrids. Hybrids or hybridized sunflowers are produced by crossbreeding different types and species. For example, cultivated sunflowers with wild species. By doing so, New genetic recombinations are obtained, ultimately leading to the production of new hybrid species. These hybrid species generally have a higher fitness and carry properties or characteristics that farmers look for, such as resistance to pathogens. Hybrid Helianthus annus dwarf II does not contain the hormone gibberellin and does not display heliotropic behavior. Plants treated with an external application of the hormone display a temporary restoration of elongation growth patterns. This growth pattern diminished by 35%, 7 to 14 days after final treatment. Hybrid male sterile and male fertile flowers that display heterogeneity have a low crossover of honeybee visitation. Sensory cues such as pollen odor, diameter of seed head, and height may influence pollinator visitation of pollinators that display constancy behavior patterns. Sunflowers are grown as ornamentals in a domestic setting. Being easy to grow and producing spectacular results in any good, moist soil in full sun, they are a favorite subject for children. A large number of cultivars of varying size and color are now available to grow from seed. The following are cultivars of sunflowers. Those marked Agene have gained the Royal Horticultural Society's Award of Garden Merit. History. Common sunflower was one of several plants cultivated by Native Americans in prehistoric North America as part of the Eastern Agricultural Complex, which also included corn, beans, squash, and a variety of other crops. Although it was commonly accepted that the sunflower was first domesticated in what is now the southeastern U.S., roughly 5,000 years ago, there is evidence that it was first domesticated in Mexico around 2600 BCE. These crops were found in Tabasco, Mexico, at the San Andres dig site. The earliest known examples in the U.S. of a fully domesticated sunflower have been found in Tennessee and date to around 2300 BCE. Other very early examples come from rock shelter sites in eastern Kentucky. Many indigenous American peoples used the sunflower as the symbol of their solar deity, including the Aztecs and the Otomi of Mexico and the Incas in South America. In 1510, early Spanish explorers encountered the sunflower in the Americas and carried its seeds back to Europe. Of the 4 plants known to have been domesticated in eastern North America and to have become important agricultural commodities, the sunflower is currently the most economically important. Research of phylogeographic relations and population demographic patterns across sunflowers has demonstrated that earlier cultivated sunflowers form a clade from wild populations from the Great Plains, which indicates that there was a single domestication event in central North America. Following the cultivated sunflower's origin, it may have gone through significant bottlenecks dating back to approximately 5,000 years ago. In the 16th century, the first crop breeds were brought from America to Europe by explorers. Domestic sunflower seeds have been found in Mexico, dating to 2100 BCE. Native American people grew sunflowers as a crop from Mexico to southern Canada. They then were introduced to the Russian Empire, where oilseed cultivators were located, and the flowers were developed and grown on an industrial scale. The Russian Empire reintroduced this oilseed cultivation process to North America in the mid-20th century. North America began their commercial era of sunflower production and breeding. New breeds of the Helianthus spp began to become more prominent in new geographical areas. During the 18th century, the use of sunflower oil became very popular in Russia, particularly with members of the Russian Orthodox Church, because only plant-based fats were allowed during Lent, according to fasting traditions. In the early 19th century, it was first commercialized in the village of Alexeyevka in Voronezh Governorate by the merchant named Danil Makaryev, who developed a technology suitable for its large-scale extraction and quickly spread around. The town's coat of arms has included an image of a sunflower ever since. Uses: sunflower, whole seed, fruit are sold as a snack food, raw or after roasting in ovens, with or without salt and/or seasonings added. Sunflower seeds can be processed into a peanut butter alternative, sunflower butter. It is also sold as food for birds and can be used directly in cooking and salads. Native Americans had multiple uses for sunflowers in the past, such as in bread, medical ointments, dyes, and body paints. Sunflower oil, extracted from the seeds, is used for cooking, as a carrier oil, and to produce margarine and biodiesel, as it is cheaper than olive oil. A range of sunflower varieties exist with differing fatty acid compositions. Some high oleic types contain a higher level of monounsaturated fats in their oil than even olive oil. The oil is also sometimes used in soap. After World War I, during the Russian Civil War, people in Ukraine used sunflower seed oil in lamps as a substitute for kerosene due to shortages. The light from such a lamp has been described as miserable and smoky. The cake remaining after the seeds have been processed for oil is used as livestock feed. The hulls resulting from the dehulling of the seeds before oil extraction can also be fed to domestic animals. Some recently developed cultivars have drooping heads. These cultivars are less attractive to gardeners growing the flowers as ornamental plants, but appeal to farmers because they reduce bird damage and losses from some plant diseases. Sunflowers also produce latex and are the subject of experiments to improve their suitability as an alternative crop for producing hypoallergenic rubber. Traditionally, several Native American groups planted sunflowers on the north edges of their gardens as a fourth sister to the better-known Three Sisters combination of corn, beans, and squash. Annual species are often planted for their allelopathic properties. It was also used by Native Americans to dress hair. Among the Zuni people, the fresh or dried root is chewed by the medicine man before sucking venom from a snake bite and applying a poultice to the wound. This compound poultice of the root is applied with much ceremony to rattlesnake bites. However, for commercial farmers growing other commodity crops, the wild sunflower is often considered a weed. Especially in the Midwestern U.S., wild, perennial species are often found in corn and soybean fields and can decrease yields. The decrease in yield can be attributed to the production of phenolic compounds, which are used to reduce competition for nutrients in nutrient-poor growing areas of the common sunflower. Phytoremediation.